traditionally, back when we first got into this business, it was very much around mimic the broadcast model. News is going to be consumed on the web as it's consumed, on a broadcast channel. So the end product, the user is going to see a 1.5, 2-minute package. It's going to be narrated, tight, sweet, what we've all done in broadcast school. I think that is where we may sense some change. Users are now able to watch, bits of raw video and interpret and understand that video because there's text content alongside. There may be slideshows. There may be other kinds of information available to them as they absorb that video. That is, I think, the big change that we're seeing. So, from our perspective, yeah, we're going to open up more of that raw video that we traditionally deliver to broadcast customers. We are going to open that up to, end users, certainly web publishers, if not end users.
It's not easy running a news organization where there's wars, where there's governments that put on some very harsh controls over censorship. Obviously, Iran, China, some other places. How do you guys manage?
Well, I think it's been, very interesting experience from us, over the last year, particularly in Iran, where, frankly speaking, we've covered much of the internal kind of debate going on there, many of the protests, for example, by Twitter, by mobile phone. Many of the people experiencing that event actually do transmit video, they do transmit text and pictures around what's going on there. So we're actually able to tap into that. That's been a process, a learning curve for us. What sources are reliable, what sources aren't reliable. But it is very clear to us, people experiencing news events, people experiencing turmoil, people experiencing whatever, all sorts of kind of political or news events are going to be filming them themselves. So tapping into that content as a source is a big priority for us.
How do you get that mobile video UGC up into the system?
Well, we do actually have a UGC platform for pictures via Reuters.com, but for video at this stage, we do have various people shooting video, sending us stuff, via Twitter. We follow several users, for example, in Iran or in other locations, who are telling us, look, we've published video, we published video, we published video. At the end of the day, we are a known, news publisher and source of information. I think for many people experiencing those news events, they do actually look to Reuters a little more maybe than we might happen in the United States, where we're not the only source. But in many countries, we are still known as a very, very reliable source. We're seen as the reliable source. So people do actually send us content.
What is the business opportunity moving forward, in your opinion, for you guys as content creators and for other news creators who are seeking to syndicate their material?
Yeah, I think the immediate opportunity is to keep an eye on what consumption looks like on the web. The big question for me is consumption on the web just going to mimic what broadcast television is? If it is, then frankly, I don't think we're talking about something that's very different. I think the real question is, will that consumption model change? Will, as I said earlier, people be more comfortable navigating through raw content themselves? Will that be an asset that the publishers can use? I think those are some of the big questions we grapple with, because ultimately, look, if it's just going to be broadcast style, if it's going to be linear broadcast bulletins broken up into 1.5-minute packages, and just those packages available in a non-linear fashion, that doesn't feel like a gigantic game changer for us. There's still going to be advertising supporting it. Depending on the number of users, that advertising could be significant or not significant. What I'm keen to understand is, look, is there a kind of different consumption model that people will use where maybe they're looking at multiple live streams at any one time? That presents an opportunity for us. I think that's kind of where our focus is, trying to gauge what user behavior is like and try to build something that works. From that perspective, the online video efforts that we're going to undertake in the next year are going to be around, better distribution of our raw content down to websites and publishers.
Because the experience is different on a computer or a mobile than watching the TV news, I suppose.
Well, I think it's not that the experience is necessarily different. Many people, watch on a very large PC screen. That's not so different from a broadcast screen. But I think what is different is that interactivity, the ability to navigate the video, the ability to kind of stop, start, move all around it. Maybe one of the things to think about is what are the tools we can bring to bear to encourage and help people navigate video. On what we've launched, Project Insider, for example, we have all of our text transliterated so that you can actually navigate someone speaking about something via their text transcript.
Thanks for participating on Monday in our roundtable.
Great, thanks very much.